If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with SUPERSONICZ.
Gambian Talents Promotion. The Gambia's first non-profit online public broadcasting network and home of culture and entertainment. At GTP, we bring you the best of Gambian creativity right to your doorsteps. Sell your products and services to millions of Gambians and friends of the Gambia via our online radio, TV, and newspaper. Advertise your business and watch your clientele grow like never before. Our content from the Gambia gets the diaspora hooked up to our screen, whilst those in Gambia love what we bring for them from afar. This gives us a unique edge and separates us from the rest. If you want to be heard or seen by the world, contact GTP. We tap, nurture, and promote Gambian talents and businesses. Think promotion, think GTP. For all your event coverages, religious gatherings, naming ceremonies, weddings, documentaries, music videos, TV and radio commercial, and more. We also do design and print jobs of all types, logos, business cards, brochures, flyers, t-shirts, coffee mugs, banners, billboards, catalogs, and magazines. We also do lamination and projector rentals. We are the first Gambian non-profit online public broadcasting network with over 300,000 active followers across all social media. Contact GTP on 750-3654, 750-3654 or 794-9214, 794-9214, 404-593-6215 or email us at gambiantalents@gmail.com. GTP, the people's power.
إياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب سبحان رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Uncle Jarwin. All right. So, okay, Chris, can you please lead us in Christian prayer?
Let's get up and pray. In Jesus' name, our Lord and our Father, thank you at this day. So today, give you the glory, give you the praise. For the prayer, Lord, may you come and take preeminence in this program that I'm going to do this morning. That everything we are going to do will be to your glory, to the blessing of your children. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Chris. Okay. So, I think you witnessed the general meeting we did at Semega General Hall. So, that day we reviewed the Constitution and we agreed upon it. So now, today we will do the adoption. So it is already adopted, right? It was adopted. It was adopted. So okay. So once again, welcome to you all for leaving all your businesses to come and witness this great occasion. But nonetheless, it is yours. It is your occasion, so who else will come and grace it for you? So we acknowledge your coming once more. All right, thank you so much. So now we open the ceremony. So we welcome on stage Mother, Head of Task Force. All right.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, each and every one of you. Good morning to the high table people. Not forgetting NCAC, National Center for Arts and Culture, for the partnership with the Gambia Association of Professional Photographers. Today, we all know that this is an important congress for the association. It's something that never happened in kind, like we did today at here. But all the congress that we used to have, supposed to be some schools, Alliance Franco. But because of NCAC, partner with us so that we can come here and do the congress today. Not forgetting our co-partners on this occasion, like Techno Photo Lab, not forgetting Photostar, and Angel Photo Lab, and Brikama Photo Lab too. All those people are our co-partners for this important occasion. I'm from the head of the task force. Since the chairing committee was selected, with some of the executives have been selected this chairing committee for the handling of the AGM and the congress today that is happening here today. Then we do a lot of work on it, and I think the photographers, they know it. The work that the chairing committee has did since the last 3 months before we leave today on the congress today. I'm thanking my team for the wonderful job to help me. We do a lot of job today so that it can be successful. I'm not forgetting the outgoing president, Mr. Bayo, and the team, because they supported us too. They supported us on this work so that everything can be done. And thank God today, we do our level best to mobilize all the photographers. Let them come here, the paid photographers. Thank God they already been here. They are here with us. Then I'm so happy, so happy for I welcome all of you here today for this important congress that is going to take place here today. But before you go to the congress, you know that we know that there's a lot of things have been done on the chairing committee before this day. Like we started mobilizing people. Tell them the importance of the association first. What's the importance of the association? What's the importance of the photographers? First, before we talk about the steering committee. Then we go out, mobilizing them, talking to them, also telling them what we're supposed to do. Because we all know that if you see that so many photographers are already maybe say that they are no more in the association. But because of the chairing committee interfering with talking to them, calling them, doing so many things, that's why they all come together. That's why they all come together and join the association. So we are all in one today. So, meantime, I'm thanking the chairing committee very well. Because I'm not the one that do this. I have a team working behind me. Not forgetting Lamin Jalo. Honestly, Lamin Jalo is a very kind person. Every day she used to call me. Matter, what's the arrangement, what's this and this and this. You know, he's a former president. He can just sit at home, say, I'm just no more in the association. But Lamin Jalo usually call me, advise me. Let's try and do this, and do this, and do this. So, I'm so glad. This is not even Lamin Jalo. So many people calling me, so many people are pushing us, the younger generations. So, today, if we are here with the younger generation, mobilizing our fathers here today at this ground, that means that maybe they don't see that our youngers, they say that maybe we are the elders today. But I'm thanking each and every one of you coming here for this important congress. The voting is important to you guys. Not us, but you guys. You guys know the best. Whoever you selected is the best for you guys. Doesn't mean that you select this person or select this person. No. You are the one people that have the right to select people here, not us. But once again, I will thank NCAC because NCAC have trust on my chairing committee. Without NCAC, I think that this thing was not happening. Because people are saying that no, these people are new, these people are this like this, these people are small, they're going to do chairing committee. No. You are small, you are big, you can be a chairing committee. It depends on the knowledge that you have to work on it. That's more important. That's more important. But NCAC, say Omar Jallo, I'm so happy. We are so happy and glad on your effort that you did. Yeah, in your effort that you did, I know it was not easy for us. We have a lot of challenge on this issue. Yeah, we have a lot of challenge on this issue today. Pull and push. We all know there's a pull and pull on this issue. Then thank God today, finally we come to the big event. That's the Congress. Then I'm thanking each and every one of you. Let be some of our guys now. Maybe I'm just leaving the podium now. Just to listen. Thank you, my chairing committee, for the well done job that you did. I'm not forgetting my advisors. Ajame is part of it. That used to advise me every day. Call me. Thank you very much, Ajame, for the wonderful effort that you did. I know I'm small, but in this case, you don't see my smallness. You just see my mother. Maybe she have the talent. She can do it. That's why maybe they are still supporting me. Not meaning that maybe I'm small on this issue. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Madam. It's not been easy running this steering committee because I'm a member. So most of the time, Madam will call me, but I'm busy doing something else. Madam will solve everything. So thank you for the job well done. Okay. Now we invite the representative from National Center for Arts and Culture, the indefatigable Sir Omar, right? Yes. Who has always been there for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, MC. I would like to say good morning to all of you. Of course, members of the High Table, including the outgoing President Dauda Bayo and his team, excepting one person at the corner there, Utman. Greetings to all of you. And I would like to say greetings to all of you too, the participants and members of the Gambia Association of Professional Photographers. It's a great honor to meet you once again. It has been almost like 4 or 5 years since when I last met you, or we had a forum of this nature, and that was sometime around June 2016, if I am right. August 2016. So precisely, it has been a while. And it's by virtue of maybe things have not been happening, or things have been happening underground. But I'm glad that I am meeting you once again. And today, I'm not going to talk long. I'm going to give a short speech and just a statement and leave you, because I would like to give you the information that the National Center for Arts and Culture is the institution responsible for the preservation, promotion, and development of the artistic and cultural, both tangible and intangible heritages of the Gambia. And this is part of our intangible cultural heritage. And photography, being part of the intangible cultural heritage, though it can be transformed to a tangible cultural heritage when it comes to an exhibition, when you exhibit it or when you put the photo on the wall, it becomes something else. But the intangible cultural heritage aspect of it is why you are all practicing the profession. So the institution is directly under the National Center for Arts and Culture, and particularly under the Department for Creative and Performing Arts Industry, which is under my department. And I took this privilege to encounter with you once again and always give you update and highlights about what is going on, because this is part of the 9 constituents that I have in my department. Because under that department, that's where you have, of course, the literary art industry, which has the writers, and the writers column, you have all the sectors there, which is whether they are poetry writers, prose writers, news writers, but these are materials that would be of magazines, not the actualities, which is the daily express, the press. And if you come to the other sectors, of course, you think of music, theater, film, photography, visual arts, and of course, fashion and beauty and beauty pageantry. They are all under that same column. And we give them the title CCI, and that is the culture and creative industry. That is the label that United Nations and the world organizations will put it now, apart from labeling it as, understanding it as the intangible cultural heritage. So that department, it's also overseas. It's very tiny because councils or centers, National Center for Arts and Culture is actually created not to develop the sector, because government will not have that manpower to be able to develop, because these are intangible cultural sectors which lies in the heart of the practitioners, the people who own it, because these are the people who run it. There is no way that we can deploy or employ that amount of people that will run these industries all at all costs. Government cannot do it. In fact, even in Britain, the British Arts Council, it's only 12 commissioners, 12 council members. The whole of Britain, the whole of UK you can talk about. They have a very small office. They have a big office though, but it's very small in terms of what their mandate is. You know all that they do? It's only that they to manufacture, to process, funding, facilitate, and things for the cultural industry. And this is, of course, what the NCAC is supposed to do. So if the sector develops, it's the sector holders who develop that sector, and we pave the way for you and facilitate it for you to make sure that it develops. Because when you win, automatically we win. If you lose, automatically we lose. So that is why I have, in fact, in my department, only 3 staffs. 3 staffs cannot run 9 industries. You're talking about film, music, theater, film, you name them. These are, each one of this is a big industry. It's bigger than NCAC. Each one of this industry, even photography itself alone, is bigger than NCAC. So how can NCAC manage that industry? NCAC is not to develop or manage that industry. It's the stakeholders that NCAC need to manage so as the stakeholders develop their industry. You are not developed because you guys did not develop your industry. I think I did not blame you a lot. I take the blame partly. That is, we should have sensitized you and made you know that you are the leaders. You are the engine that needs to move this industry and not NCAC.
Thank you.
But on the other side, I turn out to see most of the time people will turn out to say, NCAC, we are waiting for NCAC, or we will do this for NCAC, or the NCAC. No, it's not about NCAC. NCAC don't have the manpower and will never have the manpower, but NCAC has the potential to create the money. NCAC has the potential to create the facilitation, and NCAC also has the potential to be the mediator in between, internationally, nationally, to you, the stakeholders. But that development has to come from you, and you are the drivers. You drive the vehicle, and you drive it where that vehicle goes to. Then we be your technician. When the vehicle has a problem, we fix the problem and you move on your driving. That's what a mechanic is. NCAC is a mechanic. We just sit there and wait for you. If your vehicle has a problem, you stop by, you call our attention, we come fix that problem, and then you continue your driving. We cannot drive for you. You are the drivers. I don't know if you are understanding this now clearly. I hope now this will give a new paradigm to the new executive to know what their responsibilities is. And it's not about detaching away also. The other thing that I have also observed is like, especially from the previous executives, You don't have to wait NCAC to propose to you. No, you have to propose your own plan of action. This is what we want to do in this year. And you submit that to NCAC and say, hey, I want to change my vehicle, I want to change my shock absorber, I want to change my oil, I want to change this, I want that and that. That's the mechanic. That's when you go to the mechanic, that's what you do, isn't it? You tell the mechanic what you want to change and what is your problem. Then we diagnose, we tell you that, okay, you will need to change this vehicle, you will need to change this socket, you need to change that and that and that. Then we understand that you have a problem, then we solve it. And that is by creating what you call your action plan. Your action plan, this is your Bible. You place it over. If we have the fund, of course we'll support you. I have not been supporting your action plan because you've not been virtually submitting action plans that are attainable enough. If you are not submitting action plans, who the hell am I to go? Even if my department don't submit an action plan to my ministry, I don't get money. And if my ministry don't submit it to cabinet, my ministry don't get money for me. And if cabinet did not submit to National Assembly, cabinet don't get the money for it. Then how am I going to get money for you guys if you are not even submitting anything that you need to do as an action plan? So you are not submitting, that's why you are not developed. You are not following the protocol. But yet still, as I say again, I do not blame your executive. I blame myself. Maybe I should have taught them better. Because I think I was so much antagonistic with them or whatever and did not do the right thing. I apologize for that. You did not develop because I'm not developed. And that has reflected in my work. I have seen it, I have taken cognizance of it, and I have accepted it faithfully. That I failed because Dauda Bayo failed. Because if Dauda Bayo had been very successful, I would have been very successful. I am not successful because Dauda Bayo wasn't successful. But the onus lies on me for the fact that I should have actually confronted. They are telling me I'm the rebel. No, I'm not a rebel, of course, when it comes to that. Though I confront Dauda Bayo a lot of times and the like. And I have been having a lot of issues with him. But despite that, he has taken also some form of retreat at some times. But that's not the way it works. I am a Chinese. I believe in confrontation. We close the door, we fight. When we are ready, we shake hands and continue the work. That's how it should be. I don't take it for it. So when things like this happen, associations need to be very recalcitrant and focused on their work. You have a plan, this is what I want to do, and it's being vouched for your members, do it, go ahead. Don't worry where the money comes from. Don't worry where the money comes from. The money will always come on its own. And that is not the only thing that we need to understand, because associations, they drive on their own. I always like to comment one association that any of the Congress I go to, I will always comment that, and that is the Writers Association of the Gambia, WAC. They have been having like this problem until last year when we went for their Congress. But the good thing that they had managed to maintain for themselves is every year they made sure they had an AGM. That's what GAP have not been having. GAP was not factoring AGM. I'm not saying this is the first time or the second time you guys have met, but I'm sure your meetings as a body, as an assembly, have been really relegated. You have not been meeting and talking. That was not something that was happening very well, I'm quite sure. Because if things like that happen, then improvement happens. Because those are moments when people reflect and tell you the truth. If those things were happening, Dauda Bayo, if he runs away from my call because I'm calling him to do that, then that would have reflected in those meetings. But if it does not happen, and it's very difficult for any one of you to be able to call for a meeting, because you need to put up a petition, and a petition that has to go a certain level, which we will try to look into your constitution to make sure that we reduce those, and meetings are able to, because this is very fundamental. And it cannot be the group of 7, 10 people, let's go, because we are dissatisfied with Dauda Bayo, or we are satisfied with Lamin Party. we need to go for a meeting or an AGM. No, an AGM is a fundamental thing. In fact, now what we have started doing in most of the constitution is, if any association's executive don't go to an AGM, you will be prosecuted. The association executive will be directly prosecuted because they have violated a law. We are not putting it into your constitution, but now we are reacting it into our regulation now, so that we have the power. If any association stays again, any president, before you be a president, I don't know who is going to be your next president, but I'm warning you. Now, from 2020, we are not going to accept the stakeholders' infringement of rights. Starting 2021, we are not going to accept that anymore. Every association, you have the fundamental right to take your people to an AGM, explain to them the nonsense you have done, and then the good things that you have done. If you have done nonsense, it's up to them to look at you or to bore you. It's up to you. But you need to go back to your people and tell them what you have done and what you have not done. If you have found problems, tell them, I'm having problems with SOJ's office, because he's not giving me money or he's doing that blah blah, he's harassing me. That's fine. Tell them. Let them make a resolution. Out of your meetings, submit your resolutions. Then NCSC will address it. They will take care of SOJ. If SOJ is just adamant or stubbornly disturbing you or trying to detract your work, that will have to be a procedural matter. But none of you also will be able to take that association's executive back to Congress or to a meeting even. So it's very fundamental. All that you can do, what we try to get in most cases is what? I listen to Sambanjai comes and complain, Pate comes and complain, Demba comes and complain, Yoro comes and complain. Then when the complaints are many, I'm like, oh my God, there is a problem now. Because that complaint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complaints, 6, I need to look into this issue squarely. Then I call the culprit or the executive. I call them, I ask them, or we discuss. Sometimes they would appear, sometimes they would not. But whatever, in the end, we had to, when things persistently move on, we had to intervene and say we will take the right thing, that is to jump in and make sure we correct the situation. And that's what we have been doing. And this is exactly what we are doing again today. Dana Bayer's executive overstayed. And they were supposed to go to Congress over a year, and they did not go to Congress. Whatever their reasons are, they will explain. They have it in their statement, they will explain. Why they did not take you to Congress? If they had taken you to AGM meetings, that's also fine, I am not sure. But I know this last AGM you had, I sponsored that, and this Congress, I am also sponsoring that too. So what happened previously, that is up to them to explain. Put them on task, let them explain. Why did they stay in power up to this time? It's not right. It's a violation. It's a criminal act. They are criminals. These people are criminals, because if you stay beyond your mandate, we all made Yaya Jammeh a criminal here when we were talking about Yaya Jammeh was trying to play with the constitution. Why are we playing with Dawda Barrow when he had played with the constitution of the association? It's not a respect to you. Put him to task, let him explain, so that the next group that will come, they will also feel that, yeah, I will not want to be embarrassed. Ask them, why did they stay and why did they infringe your right to take you to AGM or to take you to Congress? If it is about funding, one can understand. NCAC, they have never approached us for funding. I would want to tell you that before their answers, but I have not seen any official correspondence from them to ask for a help to go to Congress or for any AGM. And what program they have got for you, I don't know. It's between you and them. But what I am telling you fundamentally, it's not about Dawda Barrow now. I'm talking about the next group. Because these ones, I'm closing their files, they are gone. The ones that I am trying to warn here, using Dawda Barrow as an example, is the next executive that is coming to sit. We will prosecute you. If you violate these constitutions now, these are not a BT executive committee. It's not a BT like association. This is a national association of photographers. It's a national association of photographers. If you want to own your own photography, go and form your own photograph industry or your photograph association and manage that. That you can call it, if you want, even bio photograph association. No problem, it's a right. Everybody has a right in this country to form what you want. But GAB with G, anything that starts with G, Gambia, we own it. The people of the Gambia own it. So anybody who is a photographer and is legible enough to be able to register under that, they have the fundamental right to register, and it's their own. If you want, if it is bio professional association, we have no problem. They can do whatever they like. But when it is GAB, it's national. It's owned by the stakeholders and the industry of the Gambia. So did you understand those points? These are very fundamental matters that I would like you to look into. And the final point that I am giving you is that we decided to drag you guys to Congress by virtue of this, a lot of queries and things and the overstay, and we are trying to remedy it. So one of the things that we are trying to do, we are trying to make sure that we enact overstay of powers and not taking your institutions to congresses and not even writing reports to submit to your people. They need to see what the activities that you have done in 1 year or in 3 months or in 6 months. What have you done? They need to know about it. So reports are also very fundamental. So the next executive that's coming up, take note of these 3. You will write reports, quarterly reports, to make sure everybody is updated about the situation of the photography. What is your problem? What is your obstacles? What are the successes that you have? And what is your intentions? We need to get those things. 1. 2, you must respect the AGM of associations. Every year you must choose the annual general meeting to take place. And after every 3 years or 5 years, I don't know what is in the constitution, whatever is there, whether 3 years or 5 years, every 3 years or 4 years, every 3 years or 4 years, the association need to go to a congress. If you violate these 3 points, I'll always come in again. And now, I'm not going to be doing it like this, but we will put litigation against you and your association, taking the association stakeholders as the witnesses and the support that they're just going to instigate them to write petitions, and we'll take them over to make sure that you are prosecuted because you have violated their constitution. You cannot violate an association's constitution. When you violate a country's constitution, you are prosecuted. Am I right? Yes. Why not an association's constitution? It's a constitution. It's a violation. It's an infringement. It's wrong to do. So these are the things that I would like to highlight your points on. So the next example, please take note of that and be sure that this is not going to be a chilly game. It's going to be a big challenge, and you are going to have a big challenge ahead of you. You need to make sure you put your house in order, and we will also facilitate, once this new executive comes in place, I would like to invite you by Tuesday or Wednesday, if you are able to transfer your signatories for the accounts, you can write to my office and request for support. We will transfer you some seed money that will be for the operation of the association. It's not to be shared. It's no money for Samba Party, Deba, Euro. It's not for that. This money we are pushing into your account. It is for your administration. It's purely for your administration. How do you need to develop yourself? And that money, I would like it to triple itself. What I would expect from that is try and employ a secretariat. We will give you a secretariat. We have already started inspection last week to make sure that you guys have a secretariat. And inshallah, by 2021, we are very hopeful there will be an office, a secretariat for all the associations. And that you will be running in that. So in that secretariat, what we expect you to do from this money is to employ at least 1 or 2 people who will sit there on your behalf. But you don't have to have a handbag association. Dadabayo, yes, where are you? I am at Dimpex Johnson. Okay, I want to pay money. Yeah, come here, I have the receipt here. Then they start writing the receipt and they give, yeah, that's collecting money and they put, That's going to stop. There will be no doubt about where is the receipt. It has to stop. It has to be done in an official premises where the writers, where the Photographers Association are located at. and where we can find you, because it's an association that can be sued and you can also sue. So on that note, I would like to say thank you very much, and I wish you a good deliberation. I may not be here all the time, but I'll be going in and out. But inshallah, by the time we finish here, I hope that we will have the best of materials from here. Thank you to you all. Thanks.
Wow, okay, like I said, Omar is never tired. He will be calling us every time to come to his office for all his events and procedures. So we've been grateful to him, and we will be always grateful for him. Okay. So Omar, well done. Okay, round of applause for him again. From now on, we can take a break for breakfast. I know the Jolas have been yawning, and the Fullers. I can see Barry and Moru Jaro. South. All right. So that eyes will be open again. All right. Time for the breakfast lunch.
The VIP side, they can go to the.
Okay, we come to the segment that I deem most important, because in this segment we have the report by outgoing president. The financial statement too is in this segment. So question and answer, a quick rundown of what to come. So from here, now we invite, I will say His Excellency, because the word that name, because he too have been doing a lot for the association. Mr. Daudabaya have been very, very industrious. Definitely. We owe him a lot for his hard work. Okay, now we call upon Dr. Daudabaya to come and do his report. Mr. President, please.
Gambia Association of Professional Photographers. And before we get into the activity report, I want to take this opportunity to recognize those in the high table and some of our invited guests in this midst with us here. Starting at the far left there, we have our former president, Jallo. Can you please have a round of applause for him? And also we have the one next to him is our long time vice president. He has been very association, Chris Eberendu. We have our secretary general next to him, Utman Jeng. And we also have next to him our treasurer, Modu Sedi. Next to him, we have our chief organizer, or sometimes you can call it the field worker, Ahmad Panek. And next to that, we also have the head of the task force, and also he doubles as the chairman of the steering committee, who has been active for the past 3 months while taking a back seat. And also in the mix there, we also have very important people here. Some of the people who were very active in the association. One is Ablai Fati. He was one time a task force member, and he has been a very active guy. We also have Sir Jones, who is also a task force, and he has been very active. We have our guy from Brikama, we call him the Jarume, but majority that's called Jarume, but his name is Alhaji Osman Sise from Brikama. We also acknowledge him. We have another guy, Dumbuya, we have from the Angel Photo Lab that has been collaborating with the Gambia Association of Professional Photographers. So I say big thank you to the madam there. As the outgoing president, I want to take this opportunity before we go into the activity report of what actually transpired under my leadership, it will be important to give a brief history about this association, how it came, for the interests of the younger generation that are coming up. And for myself, as an outgoing president, I served the photographers for 18 years. I was chosen as the Secretary General in 2002. So I worked under the former President Baboucarr Traoré for 4 years. I worked under the former President Lamin Diallo for 6 years. And then photographers have the trust and confidence to put me there for the past 8 years. So a lot of things has taken place, but we want to reflect the minds of the people. We just go back and give a brief summary of what actually happened. The Photographer Association it used to be called Gambia Professional Photographers Association. And it was formed by our veteran photographers in 1988. When there was no photo lab, 1988 there was photo lab, but prior to that there was no organization that regulated photographers or that looked at the plight of photographers. So one of the key members there is Baboucarr Traoré. He has been very instrumental. While the other people, Pa Asmi Ba, Maswada, the long list, Pa Gibi Ba, Amin Benga, who was the former president, and many others retired, he was also active. So it was in 1988 that the Photograph Association was established under the presidency of one Amin Benga, is late now, who served from 1988 to 1993, and his term finished. Then we have another one also called Manson Dembele, who also came from 1993 to 1994. And within that 2 years, after 1994, his time also finished. Then he left for UK. Then we have another veteran photographer who is late now, called Mamundere, who also took over from there and took it until 1995. But Mamundere was employed at the State House, so he felt he cannot able to do the two work, he resigned. Then the association still continues. And then photographers put things together to select one Alpha Omar Jallo. I think it's Alpha Omar Jallo, if I'm rectified by the former. And then under his leadership, they took it from 1995, 1996, and they took it up to 2002. But prior to that, as I left my school in 1994, photography is also a passion that I like, even though I was working in the hotel industry. In 1997, 1998, I joined Baboucarr Traoré. So I was on his team. That there are associations, but people don't understand each other. There are two fractions. One is there, the other one is there. So we were going on in that way. Lamin Diallo and under Alpha Omar, Lamin Diallo was the vice president under that group, and myself under Baboucarr Traoré and other people in the other group. Until 2002, we feel that there is a lot of fracas, there is a lot of fighting in between the two groups. It's better we put all the group as one. So as a result of that, in 2002, all the two photograph associations came together in a big congress at the Serekunda market, at the building around Alimbai Bukal Bahal, shop there. So it was a successful meeting, and that's where the two groups were diffused together as one, and we were able to elect Baboucarr Traoré, known as BT Express, as the president. So he also took over the mantle until 2006. So from 2006, that's where we have the turning point of the association to another level. So the 2006 came, but between 2002 and 2006, when the two associations came together, we have found certain things that were not, the photographers were not happy. So the things are, there is no bank account for association. Also, there is nothing like a receipt. So the president then is acted as the president, as the treasurer, as sometimes I was elected as a secretary general, but it looked like a two-man show into the whole thing. We used to do activities without the knowledge of other executives. And then it goes to an extent that other issues came, which were related to financial mishap and things like that. That's what led for changing of what we call, for the first time we impeached a president of photographers. It was difficult. It was not our intention, but the aim and objective is for the thing to go in the straightforward. And in that time, I told the vice president, which is Lamin Diallo, and the chief organizer, Ablai Fati, that the way the association is going, people are not happy. What can we do? Because if you call the president, he don't want to come in. And he want to take decision on his own. If you go against him, he will sideline you. And that is not making other photographers to come in. I challenged the former president. I told him, Babu Kapten, I told him now, what about the veteran photographers? I am seeing that there is no single of them on your camp. You cannot cope with them. What is the problem? But when I checked in that, they also give me their version of the story. So we said, now, let's do something. And this came about the impeachment. It was a fight which was very difficult. But before we do it, we decided that we are going to call a meeting, and meeting was called, and we got all the veteran photographers in one place, and some of the prominent photographers. So when we discussed with them, they said, Dauda, you are going to write as a Secretary General, and we are going to sign to ask the President to come and answer to us. If he does not do that, we are going to impeach. So when we did the writing, we gave the letter to Ablai Fati to take the letter to him. He did not come. So we said now, since he did not, first one, he did not come, we now going to impeach him. And we said we now remove you through the Constitution, because we already lay our hand on the Constitution. Because from 1988 up to 2006, no photographer was able to lay his hand on the Constitution. Because one man was keeping it, nobody is seeing what is there. So the other executive decided to do something at the Antonio General's chamber until we lay our hand on the Constitution to know what is exactly there and what rules we can do to remove. So when we sent that letter to him, he was not happy. And automatically, that letter, after that, the letters also have been distributed in the photo labs. He reacted and then tear all the thing. What he next did was to take us to police station, that we are going against his authority. We went to the Serakunda police station. All the photographers came there. The police asked us to explain. All of us have explained. They said, look, go to the court. This is not a criminal matter. He took us to Bundum police station. Also, he said, we don't have any right. Also, we've done that. That also passed. So just to make it quick, so that's led to his removal. Now, when we came in 2006 on the Lamin Diallo, we said for the first time, yes, it's no problem. So we said, now what we're going to do now is let us look at the association. Let's try and have a bank account. Let's try and have the 3 signatories. Let's try and introduce receipts so that nobody will just go and then one person collected the money from you. And then the most important thing, the constitution that was written in 1988 needs to be revised because there are so many photographers. We engaged the lawyers to draft the constitution, which became the first constitution that happened to be printed on the book for the first time. We called a Congress 2006. Photographers came, almost close to 200 photographers attended the Federal Hall. And then in that Congress, that's where the impeachment happened. That's where we look at our constitution. That's where the people did the amendment. So it came on the Lamin Diallo. So on the Lamin Diallo's thing also, it is all about reform. How can we have task force photographers countrywide for the first time? From introducing task force photographers so that we can coordinate going countrywide, how many photographers are there in the country? How can we engage the government? When there is government functions, they contact us about the press release and press cards and things like that. So this is how we went until 2006. Then that is when we laid hands with the National Center for Arts and Culture that are becoming a regulatory body. And then the government changed, the executive changed. Photographers have the opportunity now to put me as the president. Now we're going to start from that one, because I have to take the opportunity not to say from 2016, but just to highlight what actually happened, because this might be an opportunity that will be difficult for me to come another gathering to explain what actually happened. So in 2012, we went into another Congress, and as I said initially, that is where I was elected as the president. So when I was elected as the president, first what we did was, we said we have to engage the photo labs, because prior to that one is difficult, although what we normally do with them, if they want to increase the price, we go to the photo lab, discuss with them, but there was not that much trouble. So we said now, let us discuss with the photo lab, not only about the price, but even the regulating about the pricing, about the amateur price, and also the professional. So that when there is a borderline in this one, we will be able to do our work properly. The first meeting of that took place at Francisco Hotel with all the photo labs. We also have another meeting with them concerning that also was held at Alliance Franco, and we ended up at the hotel there. The madam sitting there can bear witness that we had a discussion, fruitful discussion on the side of pricing. So one of the roles under my executive is, when you go to the photo lab, the price you pay, instead of we leave it at the hands of the photo lab to do, we engage them in that collaboration as partners, so that they will not increase the price at a certain, that will disturb photographers, because some don't have any other profession, it's only photography, and when it is increased to a certain level, they may not be able to afford it. So this is something that the photo labs honor. And when we discussed with them, it was a fruitful discussion, and they told us that we will not increase any price without consulting the executive. So we have that MOU with them. Apart from that, we said that we have an account, we're now going to change the account, but when we open another account, because the former account there was no money, when we open an account, we said now, we will have receipt books for the first time, to introduce receipt books, so that when you are to buy your subscription fee, and when you are to make your payment of your form, you will not go to an individual to treasurer to collect. You should have something that will shoot back, so that for transparency purposes, people can claim that yes, I have paid, that's my receipt. And it is also from that time we introduce a form. For the first time, a form is introduced. This form helps us to gather the data of entire photographers, to know how many photographers are there countrywide, to know their location. If you say Mr. X, we go through the data and we are able to spot where is that photographer, which location he is, and whom can we contact in case we cannot able to get him. So from there we introduce invoices, we introduce receipt books, and now we say the constitution that we have, which is this one, we revise it again to another constitution. We have it here now. So it's from there again we introduce a press card. When we introduce this press card, we did not only stop it there, we wrote to the government, and we also went to the border post in Jiboro, in Farafenye, the latest been there, to show our photographic press card, that anybody that is issued with this is carefully before we do, but whosoever is giving, we identify as a potential photographer who can be trusted to be giving a contract, who can be trusted to be giving a program, and at the back you have numbers in case you don't even see the photographer. When you get that number and you call us, we can able to trace the person. Today with the press card, if you go to these borders, if you are traveling, those who used to travel with our card, you don't need to have a Gambian ID card. If you show it to them, they used to leave you as a photographer, and you don't have any problem, both going to Senegal and to the Casamas and to Guinea-Bissau. So we get that recognition. We also engage the government, so that if there is state functions coming, instead of to handpick people, or they don't know who to deal, because sometimes government deal with the body, they don't deal with individual, they will call the executive. He said, well, this state function is about to take place, but we can have this limited photograph, we have this limited press card. So we will engage the members to say who are interested in covering of that program, and then we will go and look at it with the press card available, so that we organize them and they can go and cover it, and there will be no confrontation with securities. Since 2012 of now, there is not an occasion where a state function or so, a photographer has been harassed by a security or something like that. Because the executive body maintain that, and we maintain it with the State House. All the previous regime and even with this one, whatever occasion comes, we write to them officially to know that we are interested in this coverage, and these are the number that's interested, we will discuss until we come. So that is another achievement that we have happened in our time. The other issue is with the National Center for Arts and Culture. As Sekumar has rightly said here, with the National Center for Arts and Culture, we engage them, and executive will go and attend meeting. But prior to our leadership, they did not recognize us. They used to have a meeting with the film association, film producers, writers, and many other ones. Photographers were left behind. When we engage them, they feel that they need to put the photographers also on board. And when I went, I represent the executive members in Kairaba, in Paradise, in the hotel school here, and many other areas, to say that the photographers, somebody will use your photograph for a calendar, for many other things, at the end of the day, he will even get a lot of money. But you, the photographer, will not have anything there. So we said, when you come to the copyright, you talk about the music, you talk about the other issue, what about the photographers also? Sometimes somebody will engage you and then take you to a occasion, I want you to snap this, but from those few photographs, a company assigned him to make a calendar. He can just use you and take few photographs, and out of that he make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you, whom you know that he just this thing, you don't have any royalty fee in that. So I fought that one day, the executive under my leadership, until the National Center for Arts and Culture have recognized us and make us to be part of the collecting society. And now they went further to recognize that now photographers also will be entitled to that copyright if you use their photographs. So that document, in fact, is giving, I think the new executive coming, what is going to be their first thing to review about it. We wanted to review it, their time was not with us, but we just at the finalizing stages, just to finish it. Then from there, then photographers also will be entitled to their royalty fee in case somebody used their photograph. So that is also an achievement that happened on our time. That is why Seguman was saying, when we have a plan, then we can send. On the issue of activity plan of actions, we all know that National Center for Arts and Culture are ill-funded. They don't have much money. So until now, things might change, but before they don't have much money. We engage them, even Sekumar, I wrote a plan of action for a photo exhibition to challenge the photographers to come with the photographs on environment, on many other issues, so that we can display and people can see the impact related to malaria, related to other sicknesses that environmental degradation can come. But I wrote an activity report, he asked me, and we sent it to him, but unfortunately we were not able to secure any funding for it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So now, that is on the level of the executive that we have done. The other issue that we do as executive is to settle dispute. When dispute arise between the photographers themselves, between a photographer and the photo lab, and between photographer and maybe a council or so. And I can just cite a few samples that with the intervention of executive, we have diffused that. The first was there was a misunderstanding at the Techno Photo Lab when the management said that people used to go to the toilet, they used to spoil the toilet because the way they use it. And because of the misunderstanding, they said now, those who are going, before you, no photographer will use the toilet when you are coming to Techno. So that the people who go there to print were angry with that. They said that if that's the case, they are also going to call a protest so that nobody can go there. And then executive was put into the picture, and then we went on both sides. We called the management, they respect us, they came, and then we discussed, we diffused it. That incident, what they say they are not going to, they fix the toilet, and that is not a problem, and we don't have it in any order, but that is just one example. We also have an example where there was a fire disaster. A photographer went there, member went there and took a photograph. Securities arrested him. We say why he did it. His camera was seized because he was not with his press card. So we were called, we went there, we discussed, and then his camera was given to him back. It happened to another photographer, between him and a security soldier. He's now somewhere where he should not have, so they say they are not going to even give him his camera. We intervene, we solve it. Also, problem happened between photographers and the technician. Sometimes you take your laptop to somebody, laptop or so to a passing, and that happened to Domingo. They say they are going to court. They call the executive. We dispute, we are negotiate until the man's money was paid and there was no court cases. These are just some of the things that executives have played. Now on the plan of actions for fundraising activities, 2014 we did what we call the photographic competition. This photographic competition was organized by National Alliance Franco-Gambian. They say they want photographers here. They say they want photographers to organize people at work. We publish it everywhere, and photographers were engaged there. And one Lamin Bio, in fact, emerged as a winner. That is also that happened in our time. So from there, in the photo lab, there is a particular photo lab that SAG people. So, and then the way they SAG the passing is not that much, the people are not happy with it. So we step in to negotiate about that. And then when we negotiate about that, thanks to our intervention, that man went because he was with them on a legal issues about some of the entitlement that they're supposed to do. But with the intervention of the executive, his dues were given. And then there was an understanding so that before people are for the staff lab are just SAG like that, that will not happen. So that is another activity that we have done. And then the other issue is concerning when photographer died. On our time, from 2012, or before 2012 we used to do, but from 2012 we make it a mandatory that if a photographer died, the family, we have to do something for that photographer. So we check something in our covers, and then we also make boxes in all the photo labs, so that whatever we collect in the photo lab and we take from our this thing, we join together, we go to the family and hand over. We did it for so many. From 2012, all the people have passed, especially our members. We don't only stop there. When also an accident happened, one example was our own PRO here. He was on a program and he has an accident with this thing, and then the leg broken. He was admitted at the hospital. We've intervened on his area. We also have another guy whose studio all got burned. We intervened. We did something. So these are some of the things that we have done. Also, now from 2016, we can now come to the 2016 coming down. Now, the 2016, when we did the Congress there, we could not do much activity, much plan of action, because the first one we did was to send to the National Center for Arts and Culture. Sekumar, if he is sitting here, he will tell me. He's asked me the other day something, an organization who want people, photographers, to put plan of action. I did mine, I handed over to him. But unfortunately, for one reason or the other, something happened the donor could not able to do, so that could not take place. For them, they have financial constraints. As a result, we could not able to proceed to ask them to give us any money. Now, concerning where we can able to generate funds, we wanted to engage some activities like fundraising, either to call a musician or something, so that we can generate some fund to have a secretariat. But the number of photographers that we are willing to pay were not much. And because of that, that caused a problem. So virtually, money has been collected, taken to the bank. Some expenses have been taken out there, but virtually we could not engage in activity. So the money, because in the bank, is in the bank. But it is small, it could not able to generate any income that we saw. And now I believe the incoming executive will look at that, so that when people are committed to pay their money, we will able to do something. Now, the executive term used to be 2, but when we went to the 2012, we said it used to 5. The National Center said 2 years. When we revised the Constitution 2012, we told them that 2 years cannot be possible because photographers are many. Some are illiterate, some are literate. So to organize all of them countrywide and with the number, if you want to do it 2 years, it's not be possible. And we agreed to them with 4 years. That is why from 2012 to 2016, The last we held the Congress was August 2016. 2016 also, we're supposed to do another one in 2020, but because of the pandemic, our time expired in August 2020. Because of the pandemic, we could not able to do because we cannot gather people together. But also in the pandemic, now our activity, when we heard that things are difficult, photographers are crying, there was nothing happening, nothing is doing. Executive said, but what can we do for photographers again? Executive started to put ideas together. Then what we did was we wrote a letter. We sent it to the finance minister. So we sent it to the tourism minister so that they can also look at the plight of photographers, because for 8 long months, nothing is done, no public gathering, you don't have any way to get money, people are sitting, it's very frustrated. So from the government side, they told us that yes, when we are giving money to the media, photographers were sidelined, but photographers are on the National Center for Arts and Culture, and as a result, not only photographers, the musicians, the writers, and all the other ones on the National Center will also be catered for. Is this current executive that we are working out on that until we get the assurance that something will happen. But prior to that, we asked the task force, the head of our task force, to set a forum, because as Seguman have said, we would have loved to do Congress, but Congress also comes with money. You have to hire hall, you have to print documents, it involves money. And the little money we don't want to be taking all. If the Congress, you need nothing less than to food and other things, is expensive. So, but when there is a forum, we add all the photographers. It's now a venue to exchange ideas. People can also criticize us. This is faulty, you are not doing the right thing, you are not doing this thing. People can also give us some good ideas as what we can do to pave a way. As a result of that, that was very successful. If we don't have AGM, but we have a vibrant a WhatsApp forum for photographers with almost closer to 200 members, where even if you cannot contribute, but you can listen to the criticism, the comments, the recommendation of photographers. That also happened in our time. Now, what brought about the steering committee? We have something in the constitution that says ad hoc committee. Because our time has finished, it's supposed to be 26 August, and because we could not able to do a Congress, so, and people are criticizing us in the forum that our time is finished, so we said then if our time is finished, they are right, but pandemic is why we cannot do. Now let's set up an ad hoc committee, which is already in the constitution. And this ad hoc committee, we selected Matar to be the head of that task force so that he can now do the coordination. And since our time is finished, but we cannot go completely, then we will give our support to the steering committee, and him and his people will work out the activity. So that is how the steering committee came about. It doesn't come from National Center for Arts and Culture. It came from us, and he's a member of us. He's not an outside photographer selected to imposing things on us. So we tasked him, and he did good work. And I think majority of the people can attest to that. It was difficult, but he was moving round and round to gather people, talk to them in the forum, in many other areas, even to the National Center. When we discuss with them and they give us assurance that something is going to come, then we now ask them, now you take up the issue. We wrote to them an activity to do an AGM. We said, but we need money. Because although people are paying, but we don't want to get all that money to put it there. So they told us that write a report, and it's done by him. He wrote a letter to them. He gave them a budget. We gave them a budget that will cover the whole and everything, which is about, when you come to the financial report, is going to be there. But the amount that we requested, they did not give us that. So it was 25,000 that they give it to us, which is coming in the activity report of the financial treasurer. We put it in the forum, because whatever we do, we need to be transparent. There is nothing like secret. So in that one, the money that they did not give us is the hall. How to hire the hall, how to get the PA system, how to photocopy the documents, the constitution, the printing, all the things related to that, the cares and food and drinks and all those things were out. They did not give us, they give us money for food and drinks and our coordination activity. But they did not give us anything concerning whatever thing we are going to do in the hall. and not to talk about moving around, going to the media. So those things, they not give us money from that. But the treasurer will explain in his activity report, we took some from the money that you pay and added to their money so that we can able to feel that because they did not give us money on that. So that was in a nutshell, and those are the ones, the major ones that we have complemented here. On that note, I tell you thank you, but after we will also open for scrutiny and question and answer, things that we could not be covered here. When you raise the question, we will be in a position to explain those things to you in detail. On that note, thank you very much.
Association of this magnitude, for that quick rundown. I know many things unfolded, but we cannot talk about all of those this time because we don't have time. Okay, next. After the report by the President, so we welcome Molu Sedi for the financial statement. The Treasurer, Molu Sedi.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Okay, financial report of our outgoing executive, 2016 to 2020. A total number of photographers that made payment between August 2016 and 2020 is 42 members and 35 forms were bought, whilst each of the 7 executive members were given form free of charge. A total number of 16 new GAP members that have paid their membership fee of $500 and $500 for their annual subscription fee. B, total number of 26 old GAP members that have paid their annual subscription fee of $500. 1, new GAP members that have paid their membership and subscription fee of 16. Total 1,000 and total is $16,000. 2, all GAP members that have paid their subscription fee are 26. Total is $500 for each and $13,000 total. 16 new forms were purchased by the photographers. That's $50 each, that's $800. Grand total received from GAP members, that's the total is $29,800. Expenditures occurred by outgoing executive between August 2016 and 2020 are as follows. A, 4 years bank charges, Stores Bank and Eco Bank, that's $3,200. B, contribution to the families of 5 late photographers, $3,000. C, lunch and refreshment for 2016 Congress. The money was borrowed. By then, association was totally bankrupt, so we need to borrow money outside. That's $3,500. D, contribution to accident of Dr. Mani and fire disaster of Basala photo studio. That's $3,000. E, making of GAP ID card with chains and holders for 42 members, as 250 each. As for 42 members, at $10,500. F, the executive committee has used some of money for coordination activities. This expense include transport, communication, correspondence, megabyte for 4 years, as that total is $4,000. We have grand total expenditure as $27,200. And second is a GAP steering committees, which was headed by Matar Jazi, October 26th of November 2020. A total number of photographers that made payment between September 26th and November 2020 from the bank statement is 34 members at EcoBank. A total number of 10 new GAP members that have paid their membership fee of $500 and $500 for their annual subscription fee. B, total number of 24 GAP members that have paid their annual subscription fee of $500. 1, new GAP members that have paid their annual membership and subscription fee are Only 10 people, that's $1,000 each at 10,000 total. 2, GAP members that have paid their subscription fees are 24. Each paid $500. Total is $12,000. 3, 30 forms have been purchased by photographers. That total is $1,500. Total received from GAP members as early this month is 26 November. That's $23,500. We have expenditure occurred by steering committee between September and November 26, 2020 as follows. A, coordination of funds including transport, communication, internet, and letters executed by steering committees, executive members between September and November 2020 is $2,500. B, organization of AGM for breakfast and lunch with refreshment as almost $20,000. Yeah. Coordination of AGM by board executive steering committees as $5,000. Hiring of hall for AGM, $1,500. Hiring of DK for PA system, $1,500. Printing photocopy, 80 pamphlet, GAPB, constitution letters, program guides, $650. Hiring of chairs, that's $450. Repayment of 2 damaged chairs, because we have 2 chairs which are damaged there, that's $600. Transport fund for video cameraman that covered the entire AGM, that's $300. Total is $22,500. Expenditure for GAP Congress, design and print of 16 certificates for institutions and outstanding photographers, that's almost $800. Printing of program guides, pamphlets, constitution, letters to media and other stakeholders, that's $300. Transport refund for 6 media houses to cover events, that's $1,200. Total expenditure is $34,800. That's good. National asks for arts and culture, give $25,000 toward JPP AGM, that's $25,000. Steering committee has paid $9,800 from payment of CAP members. Balance at the bank as follows this morning is $17,500. Thank you for.
In this note, what more do you have says here, 17,500 has been adjusted. Because yesterday, 10 people have paid after the print out. We know that yesterday, 10 people have paid after we did print out. Right now, we don't put that in yet here. Maybe we can even more than maybe $20,000 at this moment. Because right now, we don't do print out. Yesterday, 10 people paid after the print out. Awesome. Though we don't know how much they pay yet. Awesome. But after the print out, like Monday, you do the print out, then finally we tell these people that pay for the after the print out, the first print out, okay? Well, yesterday, though, some people be lazy after we did our print out already. Awesome. So we did out the print out yesterday in the morning around 10 o'clock. So some people pay after 10 to 4 for 4:30. So that's been the case. That means that we cannot calculate those ones inside there. Okay? Let them know it like that. So after Monday, we'll bring the print out again and send it to the group. That's it. Okay?
For that report, for the financial statement, okay, it can be more enlightening than that. So now the next item on the program is question and answer session from members. So that will lead us to prayer and lunch time. So let's take note of the time before the time elapses, because today is Friday and we have to perform the Friday prayers. Okay.
Just to elaborate on what the MC was just saying with regard to the question and answer session from the members to the President's annual report and the Treasurer's financial report, we have to take into consideration it is Friday and it is almost 12:30. So we are pleading to the general membership. If we are asking questions, we summarize our questions directed to the individual that we are asking the question to, so that we would save time, because we must remember that it is Friday prayers and we cannot afford to miss Friday prayers. Thank you very much.
one question.
Yes, it is one question per time.
Yes.
You ask one question and you are answered, you give an opportunity to other members to ask their questions. We don't want an individual trying to dominate the time factor. Thank you very much. 3 questions at a time, and then the people would answer to the question. We have 3 questions from 3 different individuals directed to the executive, and they would answer to the questions. Then we have another batch of 3 questions. Thank you very much.
balaa ma see waxati daf dee jël time waaye lu ma bëgg a wax mooy ma daan wax na ko fi léegi mu ne ñu bari démba si guddi lañ démba lañ fay mu ne 10 people fay nañ démba ñii ñu ne even si suba si association nga nekk foofu noonu about 6 years wala 5 years yaa ngi si association 9 years 8 years yaa ngi si association benn $500 mënuloo koo fay nga toog dañ wax meeting mu ngeen ñëw la ñëw jot congrès bu ngeen am because xam ngeen ne njëriñ mu ngeen ñëw ngeen génn si ngeen ne da ngeen a jël seen xaalis si ngeen fay ko gis ngeen am na photographe yu bari ñoom ñoo tax ñu xeeb leen ñoo tax ñu yab leen moo tax programme su ngeen fa demee sax suñ leen mënee mbéj dañ leen a mbéj because dafa leen fayda si seen boppay ñu bari photographe number 1 soo solee mbuba boo xam ne nii $5 la jar soo demee programme dañ laa treat as a $5 understand man programme bu ma munti dem ku ma treat foofu noonu as a $5 ma treat la as a 1 to 2 understand waaye ñun ñoo respecté suñ boppa gis ngeen association living membership card bii képp koo xam ne nii amuloo membership card bi sax war laa jëlee si executive bi laa wax de waruloo faa jege ida mu nekk suma mag ceebu toog nii ida mu nekk patron kuku ida mu nekk keneen membership card bi ku ko munta am day la yow waruloo jege si executive bi te soo bëggee wax ne da ngaa contest président wala dafa am benn rôle boo xam ne nii da nga bëgg ñu jox la ko si executive bi nañ la génne foofu completely understand ñun man dama gisee ñun suñ association bi jëlewuñ ko seriously loolu bu ma commencé di wax loolu du tey jëluñ suñ boppa seriously soo bëggee nit ñi ñu teg la seriously da ngaa jël sa boppa assez pour serious ma daal mu ngi nii man bu yàgga de wax naa ko ko de nit yi dañoo fay mënu leen a wax ne nii si association bi ngeen bokkate du ngeen fay nekku leen membre ku nekkul membre bokkuloo si association bi te koo xam ne fay mais soo leen ne ngeen génne ko si association bi loolu laa leen bëgg a wax man loolu la am lu ma wax.
asalaamaaleykum.
waaleykum salaam.
maa ngi nuyu ñëpp. ci lu Muxtaar wax léegi xam nga lu nekk dafa am loi léegi pour mbiri fay wala tey nga fay wala démba nga fay wala barka démba nga fay lan la loi bi wax ci affaire yi fay balaa ngaa mun a nekk candidat waaw su am na ñoo xam ne mun nañu loi bi woon na leen even soo ñëwee fii mun soo fayee yu aaya mun ngaa nekk candidat loi bi lan la wax waaw man loolu laa bëgg a xam loi bi lan la wax ci affaire yi kan mooy latest fay kañ ngaa mun a latest fay pour mun a nekk membre oo mun a participer loolu laa bëgg a xam jërëjëf.
Treasurer, if I can hear you well, you said you printed 7 ID card for the executive for free. I want to know why you did that, and is you based on constitution to print 7 card for executive membership free? That's my first question. Yes. Pardon?
One question at a time.
Yeah, I'm coming to another one. After some time, I come for another question.
A draft from the bank. We organized because when we are asked to go for Congress in 2016, we asked the National Center, can you give us some money for hall? They told us they don't have money. All what they can do is they only discuss with the Alliance Franco-Gambian, only the hall. 2 days to keep the photographers there, nothing. We believe it is not nice. And it come so prompt on us because of that. So at that time, the association, under the former executive, under us as well, we were embarking on a magazine so that we can generate fund. And this magazine attracts a lot of sponsors. But because of Ebola virus in Nigeria, and this is targeting Nigerian businesses in the Gambia, because of the Ebola virus, by then we spend a lot of money on that. To journalists, we gather our news, our magazine cannot able to go, Ebola virus has spoiled the whole show. That make us red, we don't have money. So we believe 3,500 to give something to photographers, is it worth it? So we borrow the money. Once we collected the money is paid back. So because in our constitution in 2016, we say we are going to have an external audit. All our expenditure, we have receipt, we put it aside. But internal audit, we don't have that. That was a big error. That is why when we revise now, we are going to have an internal. So it was only when we kick off, we realized that you cannot go an organization, you don't have an internal audit. So who is going to now monitor how much goes where? It bounced back to me as the president, because I involved, if they are going to make a press card, I sign and do other things. So now executive say I go back as an auditor now, so that whatever money is going anywhere, take note of it, so that we can report. And when an external auditor whatsoever comes, the receipt that we have, we can tender it. So I'm acting more or less like an internal auditor. But now in the new revised constitution, we are going to have it separately, so that he'll be monitoring the treasurer and the president and other things. So that money is being paid. The other one is talking about what my brother Kuku Marong is talking about is late payment. In our constitution, we revised there, is clearly stated. We said, that is why we closed the forum. People who were following the forum know that it has been closed. And one of the reasons why we closed it is because we issued a statement that please go and pay at the bank, because those are the names that we are going to take it to IEC. So if you wait until the time minute you pay, by then we have already printed out that one and take it there. You have paid, yes. You can come to Congress, but it might be difficult for you to contest for elections, because it is already late. That is why we close the forum, so that anytime you go to photographer WhatsApp forum, you will only hear by the president speaking, telling you go to bank and pay. Go and pay, so that before the deadline. I think we said on 3 or 4 audios. So the late payment issue is clearly in the constitution. When you go to some sections there, that's going to deal with it. That brought about it. What we say is yesterday early, we even extended it. Yesterday early in the morning, I have to put pressure on the task force to go to the bank and print out this financial statement. So from that early morning, he was the first at the bank, but from that early morning, people were paying until today. As some people come here, they are still paying. So that one is not captured. That is in the account in the bank. It's not captured. So according to what the treasurer said, we have 17,000 plus, but all those who have been paying and doing all other things, that was not captured into the thing. Many people are paid. So that fixed that. On the third question is concerning what... Alpha. Ablai Fati, I think he misunderstood the treasurer. We said 35 from 42 people got the ID card. But for executive, even though they are doing a selfless service, nobody paid them. They all pay their card. What we give it to them is the form, $50. We said because you are leaving your activity, nobody is paying you salary, you are moving around. Therefore, we exempt you from buying that form. The form is given to you free. It's not for the press card that is compulsory. You have to pay. It's not going to be fair to say you will not pay. But the form, the 7 form, is given to each and every executive member free of charge. While other people pay, that is our difference with the ordinary members. The ordinary members pay $50, but we believe definitely, I think you people will also understand that you leave your activity, you are sitting and things like that. So we say the $50 form is free. So it's not the card. The card, everybody have to pay for that, no exception. Thank you.
The other thing that I wanted to say was, if you want to ask a question for the video cameramen that are going around covering the event, you come forward in front, take the mic, ask your question, you go and sit down, then you do it in that orderly manner, so that the cameraman will not be struggling going around to the people that are asking questions. Please.
Who are here, And my question here directly is going to the high table because we have listing from Umar, who is from the NC, Sheikh Umar, and then he has mentioned some key points here that for the previous years, our executive committee has not been fully engaging them, especially in demanding some of the necessary support from their office that they can offer to us. And then as an executive body, selected to stand on behalf of the photographers to request some of the demands or support that we can have from the national cake. I think that's fully that responsibility lies in the hands of the executive. And then from what I understand also during the remark from the president, he also has mentioned that he has met with Sheikh Umar several times, so that has been a little bit contradicting, so I don't understand a bit about that area. So I want him to elaborate more. During their meeting, what do they discuss about? Is it about the development of the photographers, or is it a personal, or what are some of the reactions that he gets from him? Because we have heard the guy has clearly mentioned that the our executive has not been fully engaging them. So that is one question. Thank you.
maa ngi leen a nuyoo di sant ok maa ngi doon déglu waxtaan bi no si groupe bi sun outgoing president bi no mu ngi doon wax something like they find it very difficult depuis problème yi coronavirus bi commencé so lana tax xam nga why muy demee noonu why ñu war a toog xam nga so we find it difficult si government bi so lu tax xam nga cameraman si nekkuñ di am dimbale si ñoom ba gaay di fa dem xam nga te def nañ jaabante yu bari xam nga pour war a am this xaalis from the government war a dimbale cameraman yi what is the cause of that? It is that we are not fully registered or xam nga all the necessary registration boo xam ne organisation bi soxla na ko ndax def nañ ko or defuñ ko you understand waaw because si lu ma gëm su dee def nañ di proper registration so nguur gi daf ñu war a recognize so xaalis lu mel nii su ñëwee rek so warta nekk issue si ñun xam nga ñu war a di dem di jaabante xam nga pour caméraman yi ñu war leen a consider so xam nga so foofu noonu mooy suma problème so foofu bëgg naa xam lan a tax mu demee noonu so why lu tax xam nga they can face a lot of difficulties yeah I understand balaa ñu mën a am this COVID money from the government so pour man warta demee noonu waaw su xaalis bi ñëwee niñ considéré other xam nga organisation si so foog naa the same way tamit leen war a consider cameraman si tamit xam nga so warta sun président warta sona xam nga si jaabante boobu noonu xam nga dem ak ñëw bi balaa gaay di ñu consider ba dañuy jox xaalis waaw après tamit li ma bëgg a xam so sorry
Allah taala wa barakaatu man maa ngi nuyu ñëpp man luy suma laajte mooy lu ma xala confuse tuuti si affaire si mooy ñu ne bés meeting bi ndeewo bi ak añ bi ak yeneen activities yuñ fa def moo nekk 20,000 wala ndeewo bi ak añ bi mooy 20,000 toogu yu dama yi ak MC ak yeneen bagage yu sew yu nga xamante ne ak kayit yuñ copie yooyu yëpp dañ include mu nekk 20,000 wala añ bi ak ndeewo bi moo nekk 20,000 because loolu moo ma indi confusion.
In reaction of NCAC videos, so that goes to my Brikama friend. Actually, the problem with NCAC is they are also not having money. The annual allocation of them, I think, is $1 million. So even if you write an activity report, if you write a plan of action to them, it's good, but they will tell you where we will look at the funding, and when the funding don't come, so you cannot able to do your activity. We've been engaging them. Not that we don't engage them. Okay. Not that we don't engage them. We engage them. But maybe now things might change. We did talk about the secretariat and other things. But one of our bigger, if Sekumar is here, he would have told. I confronted with him. I said, no, we need it. He said, no. In one instant, he even told me that, right, the deadline is short because this particular organization want to help. I wrote, if he's here, he will say that. But after doing that, unfortunately, they could not able to do. He told me. And also, National Center is not only dealing with photographers, but they are dealing with 6 others. That's why he said, even us alone is bigger than them, much more talking about all. You have the music promoters, the music union, the writers, the film producers, all these people demand, just like we demand from them. So on that note, if NCA is here, but then we interact with them. The other issue is concerning my friend who said, you know, the pandemic, nobody was expecting pandemic. This just came on the government, they don't even plan it. Helping people, rescuing people, nobody even foreseen it. So the reason why photographers, because we don't know where to knock the door, everywhere is just closed. We started doing our action when we heard that they wanted to rescue media houses. That are not even individual journalists, but media houses from television stations and things like that. So that is where we also rise. So we say we are also journalists. We went and fought it at the Ministry of Information the whole day. We went to hotel school the whole day. For us, they told us that no, you people are part of National Center for Arts and Culture. That took us to write a letter to the finance minister to say, well, what about us? And we are suffering for 8 months. We don't know where to do. We registered with them. That is why Segumar said, anything that is Gambia belongs to them. We register with them, and that's why they are giving us even that AGM thing or whatsoever. So when we went to the finance minister referred us. We went to the tourism minister. The tourism minister said, no, you people are part of the arts culture. So government, the first money they give, they forget about all this artistic side. The money given to the tourism sector is 100 million. But the money that is given to the total arts sector, I think is 1.2, and there are about, I don't know whether 6 or 7 organizations or so. So out of that, that's where the expenditures and other things are all going out, including what we are doing here. So that is the situation. I would be happy if Segumar is here to clear that thing out. The other issue is concerning what Tom is saying. What we say is, when we wrote to a National Center for Arts and Culture, we said for coordination activities, we put it to 5,000. For the food and drink, we put it to 15,000. So altogether, I think 25,000. The activity, the food, we put it to 20,000. The food is 20,000. The coordination activity 25,000. So altogether 25. But the constraint that we find there, we want even more than that so that we can get the whole. They told us that they can only give us. We demanded more than 25,000. We are all end up giving 25,000. But that 25,000, the whole that we are going to hire was not part of it. And the coordination activity, now you have to ask the photographers, you have a program, no, leave it. You have to stand to make sure that this thing stands. So the budget that we allocate for that, now that budget have to be cut to go to the hall, to go to the cares, to go to the other expenditures. With the constitution, we have about I don't know, the constitution is bulky. You have to print all of them, about almost 80 something, to distribute to the people, photocopy, going around. So eventually, out of the money, we have to take some money, because that was not budgeted for. We have to take some money from the Photographers Association, add this one, so that all those things can able to solve, as I said in the activity. So that's exactly that has happened. Yes, and also concerning what this man said, because 2016, as I said, the error we did was we don't have an internal auditor, because we have receipts that have been kept by this, but we said we are going to have an external auditor who is going to now look at all what we have spent, where the thing is. So we forget to put an internal auditor. But the moment we kick off, we know that somebody have to now monitor all the expenditures and table it. And that bounced back to me as the president. Because when the treasurer is spending money anywhere, they have to involve the president. Where it is going, we have to involve the entire executive. So when we agree that we are supposed to put money on this, the treasurer is the one doing the payment and other things, but I have to take note of it and write separately. That is why if people have the opportunity to ask, or maybe later I might, if there is question and answer session is finished, I'll go back to this thing so that we can elaborate on people more and they understand the report. Because auditor is the one that can able to explain more. The financial man spend it, but auditor is the one finding out where do you put the money, where does it goes. So that bounced back to me, and that is why in this revised constitution we're going to have an auditor separately who will be monitoring all what the president, executive, and treasurer is doing, so that he open a ledger and then all the receipts and everything will bounce back. Before the external auditor come, that internal auditor will be the one to first verify all. Because if not, if I did not come out as an internal auditor, who is going to audit him? He can come with anything. So at the end of the day, we cannot explain to the public or to the Congress. So that's what brought about. But when we finish the answer session, I'll go back and summarize what the expenditures are here, so that people and other questions that we have to clarify also you can ask.
Thank you. High table bi man ben question la amun bu laajte bu concerne ci mbiru ki gaay liñ def ni forum bi ya dama foog ne su fekkente ne bu ngeen affaire ci transparence def fi ni le da ngeen wara seen affaire yi comme so lu melni problème xaalis bi ni num demee ak li ngeen fere yëpp da ngeen ko waroon seen ci groupe bi nit ñi gis ko waaye dama gis ne da ngeen toog ba léegi 12/27 ngeen seen affaire yi te da ngeen ko nataal sinap so loolu nekkul professionnel bu nekkee da ngeen di woote ne da ngeen professionnel ngeen def lu professionnel da ngeen di make sure ne ngeen defar affaire yëpp ngeen seen ko ci groupe bi nit ñi gis ko dama bëgg a xam waaye lan moo tax yéen rek ngeen a amee lii because nit ñi pour ñu xam lan moo nekk ci kayit yi ñun xamuñ ko mënuñ leen laajte lan moo nekk ci kayit yi da ngeen ñëw rek ngeen taxaw ci table fii ngeen wax so li ngeen wax noonu ñun war nañoo am accès ci loolu noonu ñu xam lan ak lan ngeen def lan ak lan moo nekk ci kayit yi lan ak lan ngeen def boo leen ko senee ñun ñu gis ko waaye ngeen jël ngeen toog ba time bi nii 12/27 soo leen seetee ci forum bi da ngeen gis ne léegi lañ ko sen te dañ ko sinap dañ ko photo loolu du professionnel da ngeen ko war a type ngeen sen ko because yéen a oote da ngeen a professionnel because yéen a wax Gambian professionnel so su fekkee na ngeen dem professionnel rek da ngeen war a def affaire yi assez professionnel ngeen bind yëpp ngeen type ko ngeen sen ko nit ñi.
To the high table, it has been a long time. The money has been murmuring over and over. The national cake that we should have, at least today, we should know how much we're going to get, how much they are giving to us, because it has been a long time people are asking. So it's time today for us to know everything clearly. There is nothing to hide. And then documentation, what the expenditure they have been doing, it should be documented. The receipts should be produced. Whatever they spend should be registered. Receipts should be produced. I think the association is too big for it to talk like verbally. So everything that they have done should be received. Thank you. This is what I want to say.
The high table, that because before today, they promised us that the Congress will take 2 days. And according to the program guide we have here, we have only 1 day. And we have so many things to ask. You have so many things to clarify. So I don't think, this 30 minutes or 1 hour will clear all those things. So before I come to my question, I would like you to put that in consideration, because I have about 20 questions to ask. So, no, I'm serious. You cannot keep us here 30 minutes, it's a question and answer. It's very small, it's short, it's too short to me. Okay. All right, my question is, the money you are talking for, you are saying 20,000 for this, 10,000 for this. Where has the money came from? It's fund from NCSE, or is money it's money from the association? Because you are just explaining, but he didn't tell us where the money came from. And the figure, we need to know the figure. We don't know how much money you have in your hand. That's my first question. I have many questions, but you say one, so I will pause here for.
So I will excuse myself to speak in the local languages, so that people can understand. Dafa am koo xam ne dafa laajte affaire financial statement bi nga xam ne moom lañ publish in the forum mu ne 1235 or whatever. Congress is normally globally financial statement don't go release before the Congress day itself. Taga prepare as a financial report, enough copies normally. You make enough copies for the delegates so you can hand over financial report when they arrive. So when you study financial report, say London or Chamberti financial report. Why you cannot publish the financial report before the president's activity report? That is best practice globally. Ngamin ko tuwa kang wala ni ko. Mole ni karaoke. Ko mole atin na financial report ni. Treasurer ni men karanja. Mole atin na imake forum ni kono juna jalimbi. Wala jajuro men wala ni ko. Financial report normally ikake wadi la meya loko congress ni lumo ni. After the president yala activity report ninke. Treasurer Ninkana or the financial person kana to the financial report Ninki. But the main Yatagenu, when a Nintiko, what financial report on him, Ayanta copy of Lenu. Kafuti no Kafuti Maya, Ayanta Naro Congress on Ninto. Nina the year to sign, your constitution in Dila and your financial report on him. Sign, it's about Gibera, or financial report on him and Dila. Munde financial report on you for the Maya for Amen Yafa. Ya jot down. Ni kar wato sita, ni financial report ni ya financial report ni foka ba. Deni na ni kar ke ay deja, anyata ka ko wala nyama. Akuka ke ko ika film ika release the before Congress ni. Wala na jalo regard to that question. Thank you. Ile ni group. Anga nyo dina wani fair na this must not do. What by this group? Understand? The what am I Monday? The final print out will come on Monday. They don't go to get group. Understand? Look at group. Look at the one Monica. Group you know that because I say they could read the group instantly. Because of photocopy ladies, my name that's what I'm for. Anything because you started to the group. Could I go because I said question for Bruno. What is the photocopy? They don't Harris. I can't get in Harris. We are going to take it to the account. So go get a getting a photocopy. So the 500 of photocopy. Let's just send it to the group. It's important. It's inside the group now. Could also do a group to go for this. When you go and answer question, then you take it from there. But because would I spend more money on again? We're going to use economic. The economic. So about 20 questions. But we want to tell him that we want him to exhaust all his questions. So we will be able to answer it after everybody finishes it. Go in having more. But the Congress is 2 days. But look at my they was split into two. The first one, the way AGM go person, and that was concentrated because photographers could not come on time. So, and the constitution we have a lot to discuss there, which is the key, the most important. So, as you said in the forum, for many people, there are some questions that we need to do, activities we could not do because of the constitution. Everybody came late. Nobody can blame us for that. Because we were there early, you yourself, you came late, you were not there in early time, but you go to the forum, you say everybody come late, and that is a failure, it's not been there early, and you yourself don't come there early. So the Congress is 2 days, the Congress need a lot of money, and photographer money, before you spend it, we take our time, because the criticism will come. Remember, for 4 long years, we only put $4,000 for activity. That 4,000, that is every year $1,000. Every month $90 is put aside for executive in case you want to travel somewhere or go on activity for only $90. So the whole 4 years, only $4,000 is allocated. And sometimes you need a mission photographer. Think that you have a program. Now you have to leave your program and go and solve that with the government, with National Center for many other areas, and you are allocated only $90. Because if you start taking a lot of money, people will start seeing you differently. So that is part of parcel of it. 2 days now, the first day more held by AGM, and then the second day here. So we cannot do the third one. When you have money, probably you can extend it to third day. But after hard is the problem. And people were there to pay. If you yourself is yesterday that you pay. So where are we going to get the money for all those things? It's a problem. No, because money, the expenditures that we did, we only have 25,000 check from National Center for Arts and Culture, which is put in the forum for everybody to see, no more than see AGM. But the rest of the money spent is come from of course, it's going to come from here. We don't do any activity, we don't do any fundraising, or nobody
somebody give us money. All the money that we spend come from photographers. Somebody have an accident, we keep it. Somebody is dead, we keep it. We want to go on a mission, as I say, $90 per month for 4 years, 4,000. So the same thing. The printing of ID cards is all come back the money you pay. And I think that is what is supposed to be. We cannot put the photographers cannot pay and then we start to put money elsewhere to do the activity, to spend the money for other issues. Thank you. Same must say that the national money, more than has been given to all the associations, 7 of them, I think it's 1.2 million. Now, we are saying that to photographers, 200,000, between 200,000 and 250,000. It's not confirmed yet, but we believe 250,000. We put it to 250,000. That 250,000, 50,000 has been deducted there automatically. We came here. That is National Center. Any photographer can go and ask them, why do you do that? Because they need to all the organizations. We don't have any mandate on that. But all of you can go and if Tegumar is here, you can corner him and tell him, why do you do that? He is going to give that. Apart from the 200,000 now, that's why they allocated them 100 million for all the hotels and hotel staff and what's happening there because Funehani is there, the hotel industry. Now the artistic sector, which is the Photographers Association, the film producers, the writers, the music promoters, 7 of us, we are all giving 1.2 million. I don't know, 6 of us or 7 of us, we are giving 1.2 million. That is the national cake. That cake from the Ministry of Tourism brought to the National Center for Arts and Culture. From the National Center of Arts and Culture, it trickled down to photographers. So that is the national cake. So already $75,000 has been cut there. 50,000 is here, 25,000 there. That's it. We have the receipts of all these things. But that receipt cannot be verified to you people. We said we want to have an external auditor to look at it, to check, so that he can give. Even in National Assembly happened to that. But part of the expenditure we do, we say, is here. Some of certain things that we say, people can understand that because it is not a big money. When you say a card, you printed it for 250 this thing, or when you say you give $3,000. So sometimes you can find receipt for some, but sometimes you might not be able to find receipt for it because it's not much money that is being spent. But the documentation purposes, everything is being written here. Yes. I think you don't understand me. Okay.
Once again, I still want to come back to the high table. I have some few questions. From what I have understand is that many people are actually concerning about the money that we have in hand or the money that we are expecting, how those funds have been used or what are some of the plans or some of the documents that are there to be indicate to show us that how this fund has been used. But my question here is, we know that the photographer associations, we don't have enough funds, and we are heavily depending on the contribution that members are contributing together to support the organization. And then we have our constitution. The constitution, I know it also have give the executive members some empowerment whereby they can able to apply or engage other institutions to gain funds. So if the executive also can elaborate a little bit on that area to us within their mandate or during their time in office, which organization or which institution they have been trying to engage to generate funds, because we know that we alone cannot support financially the organization's activities. So we want to know what some of the effort that they have been doing, because in the ofana yitandin to la prunga je ko ito la sanyina no nyinkono to nyale nyine ke bare nyin kataku kari leke, so we can see their effort. So land after President Vanena, I would love Fanang Jubiaje Fanundine demanding, so that the next executive milbenala, they will know where to start and how to go along with it. Yeah.
COVID-19 Kodome Yadi, Hassan Kotre Kodomendi. Right?
Yes.
I'll go 25,000 spend the jana.
Okay.
50,000 spend the jana. Oh, spending ya, Janin will be spend until you can have a
dafa am ñoo xam ne day war a am salary ñun dañ war a fay xaalis ñun day war a dépend suñ boppa photographe yi bari nañ suñ fayee xaalis suñ contributé dinañ mën a fay some of these members ñoo xam ne ñuy dox si suñ association bi
kenn du def si yàlla naa dee ñoom dañ nekk fii war ñoo liggéeyal dañ leen war a fay nañ analyse nañ seet si ñoo xam ne dañ leen war a fay ñu joxal suñu association mu correct suñ leen fayee ñoom dinañ am time pour lijjanti suñu association waaye koo fayloo ko dara su demee def dara foog mu coppati fa dara pour mu moom tam muy am dara muy am lum kër loolu lay war a def salaamaaleykum.
I'm thanking you for your job you done. You try very long, you sacrifice. But now I know it's not easy to run an organization.
Okay.
Now, no, I want to tell you one thing is,
can you listen, please?
Organizations cannot run without money. And one way to make the organization to reach higher height is to create money. Now, the payment you are doing is very small. $500 for a press card and then almost monthly or yearly is very small. Can we try and increase the money juice? $1,000 at least we can also the money. We can also try to pay the executives because they are sacrificing a lot. We have to try and do that. Or another way, there are many means you make money. You can raise funds and other things. You cannot wholly depend on NCSC. We have to try to create money. There are many avenues to create money. Thank you very much for that.
Gambia government ni bete paso bondi la masakunda to yala ibugana banku jumule ya fego mbakane ten and it is the same administrative approach that we take. So there is no justification. Put for the executive needs to go back to the general membership. Kafoko koloni na but not takere ten masakunda bugata moya. That's not the way government works. So I think that answers your question. With regard to the 25,000 and the 50,000. The 25,000, the 25,000 was handed over to the steering committee. They put it into the forum. All members of the forum knew the amount of money that came into the forum, into the association. And it was their responsibility, the task force, to dispatch that money as to where it was needed to cater for food, for breakfast, lunch, and beverages, hall, chairs, PA system, and I think it reflected in the Treasurer's financial report. He captured it in his financial report. The way the 25,000 was spent, it was clearly spelled out here. With regard to the $50,000, that is NCAC. After Congress, we go and lodge a complaint at NCAC. Why did you spend our 50,000 at Gambia Hotel Training Institute, GTHI? Why did you spend it? Because they spent 50,000 for us to hold this Congress here. Because it is under their prerogative to conduct Congress for all the organizations or associations that are affiliated with the National Center for Arts and Culture. I think that answers your question. Thank you very much.
What you said, you are right. The 25,000, we break it down. You go to the catering, the one who is going to cater for 100 people. Breakfast, no, he said, I think he was trying to still say that he doesn't, I don't know, understand. When we send the bucket there, we said 100 people, breakfast, lunch. We also say coordination activity. Now the coordination activity, you are now leaving all your activity now moving around different areas. Now you concentrate for that Congress to come up. If you have a program, you are going to throw it there. Because already you told programmers in the forum that you are going to have an ADM. So if you have a program in Pasay, it doesn't care, you have to throw it. Because you don't tell programmers that Congress and ADM and you have a program in Pasay, you go and do that. So that coordination activity and the whole and the chaos and this thing, printing of document, the constitution, the typing and all is all centered on that 25,000 money from the phonographers and add it to that one, to add the 25,000 so that we can all, because we want National Center to give us money for that. But they don't give us money for hall, they don't give us money for PA system, they don't give us money for even the cameraman who was taking the whole document, they don't give us money for our documents we print, they don't give us money for the broken chairs, they don't give us money for a lot of activity that we did. So because of that, we managed with the 25,000 and take some from what you people pay and add it to captured in the activity report.
Okay, before any question, we acknowledge the arrival of the PRO, Dr. Mane. He is late for a reason.
Then we are going for Friday prayers. But before Friday prayers, we have to give this certificate to this guy because they want to let us why after we come to Friday prayers, we'll continue giving of the certificate. Now we are going to give. Okay.
Sorry for interrupting. I think we have enough crowd.
27th of November 2020, signed by the President Dauda Bayo and the Secretary General Usman Jeng. Can you please clap for Angel Photo Lab? Then come and read the certificate. The outgoing President, Mr. Dauda Bayo, can you please give them this outstanding certificate?
Campaign, and also we are going to do the voting right here, right now. And also we are going to count it before your presence. I was just trying to find out the medium to use to communicate. But I was made to understand that the Congress was prepared or was delivered in English. So I said, okay, no problem, we'll use English. But in the event somebody could not understand, if you need help for clarification in Mandingo or in Wolof, we can do it. Is that clear? Okay. In every game there are rules, and we are going to tell you how we are going to conduct this program. So, we are a team from the IAC. From my right, I just want to introduce the team. This is Sidia Silva, the regional officer for Kanifin. On my left-hand side is Lamin Tarawale, the assistant regional officer. I am Abdullah Jeng, the director of operations. We are here to conduct your election. We make sure that it is democratic, it is transparent, it is free and fair. So we are going to tell you the rules of the nomination. All eligible members are entitled to nominate or be nominated, to vote or be voted. Once you are a member of this association, you are eligible to nominate or be nominated for any executive position that you are interested. You can vote or you can be voted for. Any member can nominate him or herself or nominate another member. So suppose you open nomination, you can either nominate yourself or you nominate somebody else for a particular position. So it's okay. Each nomination must be supported by at least one other member. Suppose I say the position of a president and somebody is nominated, at least we need somebody else to support the nomination of that person. So any member nominated reserves the right to accept, reject, or withdraw his or her nomination, or his or her decision shall be respected. Also, if you are nominated, it's not by enforced. You have the right to say, yes, you accept the nomination, or no, I'm not interested. It's democracy. Nobody can be forced on any position. So when Congress unanimously agrees to close nomination, the members shall move a motion to close the nomination and his or her decision shall be seconded by another member. Like suppose a position is open and we decided, okay, 2 people are nominated and no other nomination happened. Somebody can move the motion, saying that, okay, now we can close that motion, we move on, we continue to another position. So candidate for president shall be given at least 5 minutes to address Congress to say what the party can do for this association. If you are nominated and you accept your nomination, we allow you to come here and tell the Congress what you can do for this association. That platform will be open. Other candidates
if they need be, we give them a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, for the candidates other than the position of the president. Voting. Voters have their names on the list, meaning that when we come to voting, usually we use the ballot paper. So we make sure that after the nomination, we take at least 5 minutes to put the names of the candidate on a ballot paper, and we print it here before you, and those ballot papers will be used. Voters will be given each a ballot paper. Every voter will be given when you come to vote a ballot paper. Ballot paper marking, do not write your name on the paper. So we'll tell you when you come, the candidate of your choice, you just mark the name of the candidate. In the event also, you cannot, we are here, we have no interest in whosoever is contested. If the need for anybody for help, we are going to help you. And your vote will be secret. You know, it will never be mentioned anywhere. We are election officers. We took oath, we swear to keep the confidence of voting. So it's on us. So whosoever we help, meet that person and you and God. That is it. So we'll tell you how to do it. Either you circle it or you take it. If you wish also to change, we can help you. You just X and change. So after voting, or if you mark, you know, the person you want to vote for, will allow you to vote it 2 times and put it in the ballot box. Please, let's have the ballot box. So the ballot box is here. Don't see it very heavy. We put up all the papers here. We'll empty it. Before voting, we'll show you the empty box. And we'll put it here before you. You will mark your paper, you fold it twice, and put it in the box before everybody. The only thing is that nobody will see the person you vote for. But from a distance there, everybody can see that Kari is voting. So it should not be a big deal. So far so good. We also have 7 positions to contest. We have the position of president, first vice president, second vice president, secretary general, PRO, chief organizer, treasurer. We have 7 positions to be contested. So the head of the task, that one would not be contested because it will be selected and be appointed. And I was made to understand the position of the auditor will be outsourced. A separate body will take care of that position. So far so good. This is it. So yeah. Anything you want?
It is clear to each and everybody as it has been listened. We are on the oath. Anything that we are going to do there, the rest assured that we have already sworn into the oath. And this is not by chance of giving or conducting an institutional election, but it's a constitutional mandate of IEC to conduct both national, public, and institutional elections. So this is why we are here. It doesn't mean that it was guys who called us to come and help, no. And the request has been sent to the chairman. It's the chairman who delegates us to come and conduct it. The rest as well is going to be fair. Again, to address another part of it, where he said that nominations, you can nominate only one person in a position, but you cannot nominate 2 persons into one position. For example, presidency, you cannot nominate Mr. Jallo.
3 months, we talk rek. Then you body fee, man matar malen fees. Man matar ma confuse you body you wanna pay halisi account. Just in the 3 months. You for for more than 4 years. When you mobilize people, say it's a big problem for them. For 4 years, when you mobilize this, it's a big problem for them. Because in Angola, they select me. You say football team. So that football team, we want to let it start the same executive. I condemn London work on the Benjamin. London work on the Benjamin. The other guy football team, but the select guy is a guy's executive. So the same football team is continue. They just continue footballing. From Nane, one game by saying hell trop. man Matar plan yu ma teg rek dafa bëri sax pour li association bi lu ma leen tegal sax dafa bëri because maa ngi teg plan yi bëri loo xam ne Gambia Association of Professional Photographers di nga am njëriñ si loolu because dama am contact I know people fu ma mën a dugg bëri na fu ma dem kenn du ma reject si ku ma dem kenn du ma reject si biti because fu ma toog rek ñëpp kontaan si man fu ma waxee ñu ne waa Matar konte nag maa lay ñaan seen carte yi soo bëggee association bi dem si kanam jox leen ko Matar soo bëggee association bi dem si kanam jox leen ko Matar because man bi ci barki démb maa ngi am ay programme sax ñu ma koo dew ma maa ngi am ay programme ñu ma koo dew ma am na ñoo mën a cerner si loolu fu ma lee printé fu ma nekk di printé yu bëri démba 11 o'clock si guddi laa fa jógee te dixième démba si suba 7 o'clock laa génn kër ba 11 o'clock si guddi maa ngi dox ak silipaas so kon koy for naa ne changes leen bugga changes leen bugga changes bu bugga nag foog naa ne jox la ma ko di nga am changes boobu noonu just in 3 months ma change la loolu bugga in 3 months ma change la loolu bugga bu ñëw fi walee dara nag daf leen di nax rek bu leen fi wax dara daf leen di nax rek because boo gis na ma tuuti na foog ne xaw ma dara yow just da ngaa nekkal sona sa bopp rek su la ne tam su la ne sa nga ne grade 1 la wàcce school there's no problem because sama background soo ko boy xam dama laaj wala sama background soo ma xam sama background soo ma laaj na doo xam sama background soo ma laaj yu dee xam sama background yes so dama bëgg ku nekk soo bëgg xam Matar la may background yu Matar laajte Matar force moo la background wala grade 1 la wàcce wala grade 2 la wàcce wala grade 12 so xamante ni jëkk bala ngaa wax si moom soo xamul si moom doo mën a wax si moom foog naa ne kaddu boobu tere ngeen dem ko because man ñi ma boot dëgg la ñu déggu leen ñu mën a wax dëgg leen Alpha ak Thié évident na ma ko te ñoo ñu déggu leen ku leen xam rek xam nga ne man ko de dinaa jóg man ku ma xam naa ne dama jóg kon am na loo xam ne 5 hours I sit with Basse for to discuss about the association issue of man so let me know that ne kon de moom mun naa bàyyi sama soxla yëpp association bi dama ko jaral because si ñu ma toog xam naa leen because they push me they ma recognize xam la laay def lu moo tax ñu push ma su ma recognize du ma push kon de nag ku ma try nag try nga am nga liggéey de
Thank you very much. I'm not here to campaign. I mean, I just use the platform to, use the platform to, enlighten photographers of today. As long as photography is concerned, we would have been at high heights by now. So, but I will not speak English as long as my audience cannot speak English, some of them. I rather speak Wolof or Fula. I mean, one person can run the affairs of an association. We will never, spare our former president, Dawabayo, in anything that's happened here. We've been working collectively together. So, small opponent be mangi disregard the word manma defli. That's very wrong. It's a collective responsibility. As of now, I mean, photography, at least we will not use it as a platform. We are not there. What we want to be there, and the whole Gambia know that we are there. No lenguga. So, nekode for them vernacular language in your speaker. You cannot be speaking all the time in all meetings. There are certain points you have to speak the official language. So if you are not there, you cannot do it. So it's better we, pick the person who is, or we choose the person who is fit for the post, then we give it to him and we run the affairs of photography. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Before wasting any time, can we now call Alaji Alassana Sisi, the first Vice President. Sorry, I like Ansumana. I like Ansumana. I like Ansumana Sisi. I like Ansumana. 4:28, and we are giving you only 2 minutes by 4:30.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Memo be kondo assalamu alaikum. Alto nal kondo la. Natala ndel family kilindi. Anna kumanya nyo kumpala. Delenya da fala nyoye. Akoleada adiada ndelenya dalo na nyoye. Amba natalal na dokula nyanda asura na njisolale njiskumula kono. Nte bilo mbalo na amba asan culture dawle afunya meta but bilo ngani ni misa jalloje bari ko ay muta ko ajuskumula nyen fana nyinda muta la njiskumula le na kumanya na kumpala talal we are the front ntel nam mo follow the society diandi na talal ka society diandi without us na talal at any you cannot see nothing absolutely. Video grata ko nyata tara nyato all the time anu no nyato ngai nyata so dam fangal giso kono na so bayani na kato wala nyanda sinamul kuma nyana ninning sai wala na ngala no bata ninning tennem ante also nale kare dina commune ya fo nyame musol blan na system kono anu musol ben na system kono den na dokulal ibe musol di say nga ke photographe ngai be stop le nata kewol men ngai train natalo because natalo na is digital system ni anol abotale so life change na ifana ka change mo nyaale digital demandi malam o mo le dum delbe mason photo ni longa balle ba mo ngata sudina wulo kono nga kunol natal monson time I'm telling you up to now. So say we don't get bad. Didn't musol nge train. Mele school complete. Imando ko soro nge studio yele nga digital printer sambana ye. Photocopier and other stuffs. To musol fana ye empowerment. So Niemefo is very interesting. Ni go ngada people like Europe. Ni musumanta. We are finished.
Thank you so much.
Everyone, Manglena Grim didn't send Mangito the Mutlamin, nobody then Mahame, Mr. 2000. For nothing, nobody telling to Suma real name. Yes. Manhamna, nobody telling to Suma real name as Mutlamin. Because Yagaring Sifil be, nobody 2000 Made Oye, the man of the millennium. So Manglena Grim didn't send pour ngeen select ma because elegant nguñ ma dañ ma select so pour jël that tax man Modou Lamine pour war a nekk the first vice president of the association so len ma votalee ma taxaw to be the first vice president of the association bi they have a lot of problems loo xam ne loolu lañ dee face. One like photographer amuñ seen right number one. Number two, photographer amuñ benn respect in the society. So len ma votale dina make sure all those rights ngeen am ko seen problems yooyu yëpp mu solve. Dina taxaw tamit all the institutions in this country dina make sure ñu am a cameraman and a senior cameraman and the assistant starting from the United Nations, from the central government. People don't respect us because of nyota. They don't respect you because Alpha Mutar wax nako fi at the initial stage. So we need respect la danga respect sa bopa. Nga gom sa bopa, then nit mun la believe who are you because today there is nobody in this country ko xamne you are doing something without an image because our role is very important. We are just like a driver. The fan rotate driver so amut kenn du mëna dem liggéey kenn du mëna dem marché kenn du mëna dem l'hôpital so totalement ma taxawal len ma fompa sen rongoy
Assalamu alaikum sama mboka. Clap for me now. Sometimes my duty in this executive is this, to carry the photographers along and to open their eyes more, because I know that I have my own experience and I come from another country and I've been here for, let's say, 25 years. So I've been doing this photograph for some years now, and I'm trying to let photographers know. I told them right from the beginning, the way you want people to address you in occasion or in a country or anywhere, dress like that. That's the way they will dress you. I could remember some time years ago, I was telling some photographers, some of the photographers will go to a program, or when they see a nice house, they will remove their slippers at the doorstep and enter inside that house, and which is not right. You should dress neat, walk into that place. They respect you. There's no office. I could remember when I used to go to offices of the president. The way you dress, even sometimes the people there will not know that you are a photographer. They will think that you are a delegate because of the way you dress. So I'm trying to let photographers help the photographers association in this Gambia by advising them, leading them to the right way. At least my former outgoing president knows my contribution in this association. So I'm ready to help the association to grow more higher. And let me tell you people, please, leadership is not because of this coronavirus money. Please, because I have seen that people come out because of coronavirus money. It's not the main leadership. We want people who are ready to bring out their time, bring out their energy, bring out their money, and add to this association. It's not a matter of because of the corona money. That is why people are struggling to be vice president, president, and this and that. You should know what you're going to contribute to the association. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good evening once again. And as he rightly mentioned, my name is, many people call me as Alpha Umar Kanaji, but officially I'm Alpha Kanaji. That's what I have on my official documents. And as you all know, I have been nominated as to be a secretary of the association, which I believe is a big interest, which I got from the members, which I thank God for that. And I also believe that if I am voted in that position, I will have a big task and a big role to play for the organization or the association to achieve its bigger dreams. As we all know, GAF has been existing for so many years, though there are many challenges that are lying ahead of us. But together, when we put our hands together, and then we make sure that we understand the cause of the organization, and together I believe we can achieve what we want. There is nothing impossible. I thank you all for having the trust in me. Thank you.
Having supervised the election of the executive of the Gambia Association of Professional Photographers, GAP, hereby give notice that the total number of votes given to each candidate are as follows. The position of a treasurer, Basiru Sise, 6 votes. Ahmad Fane, 16 votes. Abdullah Fati, 21 votes. Okay. Position of Vice President. Position of the First Vice President. Chris Alhaji Ansumana Sise, 20 votes. 14 votes. Matar Jazid, 30 votes. I hereby declare President Matar Cisse a winner. Vice Jase, please. Matar Jase. First Vice President Alhaj Ansumana Cisse. Second Vice President Ibrahim Adamfa, unopposed. Secretary General Alpha Omar Kanaji, unopposed. Public Relations Officer PRO Lamin Jain, unopposed. Treasurer Abdullah Fatih, winner. Chief Organizer Usman Kamara B, unopposed. This is the new executive.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So you will also have other members. You will also have other members like the head of the task force, and the head of the task force will be selected and be appointed by the new executive. You will also have the auditor, but the auditor will be external issue. What?
Position here. Te nanguwuñ ko jël because lu tax nanguwuñ ko jël mooy jiite mbooloo yombul nekkul ku nekk moo mun a jiite mbooloo. There are some people ñoo xam ne nii mënuñoo jiite mbooloo soo ko su mbooloo bi yëpp ñëwee ñu jël leen ñu tànn leen bu leen bitree di trust bu leen jox bu leen bitree trust yi nit yi bu leen ko bitree ku nekk si yéen jox nañ leen position nekk leen si position bi ngeen liggéeyal photographe yi yëpp ñoo xam ne nii tam day luus nañ ko jël in a good faith ñoo xam ne nii ñaari wiina amul benn wiina rek mooy am ñu toppa si ñu xam ne still now lu si kanam rawul bot nit ku nekk yow yaay liggéey lan moo tax nit yi ñu óolu la ñu def la président te ñun tamit ñoo xam ne nii ñun ñoo leen fal nañ am patience si ñoom ñu jàppale leen loolu moo gën a am maanaam waaye asad naa fu mu nekk nii
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. I'm thanking God the Almighty and thanking both my parents, thanking the Gambian Association of Professional Photographers for electing me to be the president of the association for the next 4 years coming. I'm so happy to be the president because I know you all did it because of Matar is not doing nothing. But all of you know that it's only Matar that can stand for this position at this moment when the Rabbi left this association. Maybe I know that I'm a little bit young on this association because I'm not having more than 10 years there. But what I did and what I showed to the people and what I showed to the association and what I showed to the cameraman, they know that Matar is the one that can stand for this position. What I want from this association, the Gambian Association of Professional Photographers, let all of us come together and unite. Now, right now, what I was doing is politics has been passed. Then it's time for work. It's time for work. Please, my executive, can you please listen to me, please? Yes. The executive of Matar, please. I want the executive members to work with me. We see the interest of the photographers at this moment. I want the executive members to work with me, Matar, so that we can all work to make the association to move forward. And I want all the photographers to register their name to the association. Don't see the name. I'm an older photographer. I'm not going to register my name. But when it's time for position, you will register your name. The same example has been set. Anybody did it, we are going to set an example to you. Anybody did it, even I did it, you have to set example to me because this association has to be respected. Everybody has to respect this association. Because you're going to see that when you are part of the association, then you are not going to register your name. You are just going anywhere you want. When it's time for a congress coming, you say you are going to take position. No. That will not going to happen here anymore. Nobody owns this association. We own the association, then we have to work for the association and see the benefit of the association. In my presidency at this moment, I'll make sure whatever the association needs, we will all work together and have it. My number will be available. Then the secretary general, the number will be available, and even the treasurer, their number will be available. I'm watching all the photographers, not anybody give any money to anyone. If you want to pay, go to the bank and pay. If somebody comes and says, give me money, I'm going to pay for you, don't give it. Just go to the bank, there's account number, you pay the money, then the treasurer will take care of everything. The treasurer will take care of everything. Then in that note, because I'm happy. I'm very happy to work with Brikama because I know this is transparency. For the past 18 years, we see vice president or other executive position come from Combos around here, but today we are thankful. Many persons has gone to Brikama, Combos. So then we also have been mean that the association is transparency. Decentralized transparency. Then I'm thanking everybody. I'm saying goodbye now. Thank you very much. Okay. Then there's a group program with the executive and the new executive. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for electing me as the president of the Gambia Association of Professional Program for next 4 years coming in 2025. Inshallah. Yes.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland and the rest of the world, SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the SUPERSONICZ Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with SUPERSONICZ.
Every dog na the trap where you pre-empire and I build it up brick by brick. This is you're watching Gambian Talents TV, you know. Multi problems.
Take it from a kid. Mimfama hanifen tuaja. I'm getting it all is son man. Muka hanifen tualeja. Albeni lab. Ya dualeja. Seja burja. Ndulka be freedom of space te bualeja. Dual bela dua du bual be bua. Allah bolon esti Gambian dream brikama boyo.
Ndulkanda.
It's all about Gambian Talent TV. Tune in direct. Ala GB. Stay tuned. Mimbekiring Gambia. Mimbekiring Gambia Bantala. Gambia. Look.
This is Abdul Karim Wagan Faye, and right now you're tuned into Gambian Talents TV, numero uno online TV.